Welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. Brought to you by Elite Consulting Partners, it's the only podcast offering unfiltered guidance and direct advice for all things concerning financial advisors, RIAs, and the practitioners in the wealth management business. Learn more and subscribe today at eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcast. And now, here's your host, Frank LaRosa.
Hey everybody, welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. I am your host, Frank LaRosa, and I am joined today by the man, the myth, the legend, the world traveler, Dale Dempsey, also president of Elite Consulting Partners. What's up?
Co-host.
Co-host.
Can I be co-host today?
You can be co-host today.
All right.
You can
All
be.
right, sounds
you can be host today. Co-host.
Yeah.
Oh no, Adventure Explorer. That's the name on your business card.
I do. Yeah. For all
Adventure
of you that
Explorer.
listen, yeah, I have Adventurer/Explorer on my business card. Actually, so this is kind of goes with today's topic where we're going to talk about culture today. We're going to talk about a firm culture, and credit to Frank. He's done a great job creating a culture where people can reach their goals and go after their dreams, change their lives. I've got some goals. One of my goals was to have Adventurer/Explorer on my business card, and help me see that through. That has more to do with what I think my personality is at, an adventurer and an explorer. But
for sure.
But look, all that aside, I think today's podcast is great if you're looking to develop a personal culture for everyone at your firm, but something that people can grow into. And then for larger firms, we're going to talk a little bit about what we see working, what we don't see working, what to avoid.
So listen, if you're new to the show, we appreciate it. It's called Advisor Talk for a reason. It's basically us just talking about things going on in the industry, things happening on a weekly basis that we're talking to clients about, and some of the things that have come up recently. We just did a podcast on it about hiring, and we sort of within that podcast talked about core values. Right, core values lead to culture, and core values and culture have to be tied together.
Yes.
Another podcast we talked about the competitive advantages of certain firms over others. Some of it's monetary, but some of it isn't monetary, and we've been working with some firms doing some pro formas lately with some of our clients, and a common theme has been like, hey, listen, you get down to two firms. And the economics are very similar, plus or minus a point here and there, right? What I try to get clients to understand is once you get to that point, take the spreadsheet, take your pro formas, your numbers, and put it aside, and then focus on culture and focus on the environment that you're going to be in, because you might join a firm thinking, well, it's only a 2-point differential in payout over the other firm, but if the firm you chose is drastically different culturally, it could cost you way more than 2 points, right? It could be a real problem. It could be a problem for you, a problem for your team, a problem for your clients, and you don't want to go into that. So it's really, really important to focus on what's the culture of the firm that you're joining.
Right, which might be hard as an investment advisor when you're thinking about cost basis for clients, and you're always focused on the numbers. This is one of those things that often can get put to the side for the wrong reasons, and everything starts to become about money, and inadvertently, money becomes scarce to a degree when you've joined the firm for the wrong reasons, and again, inadvertently, you've downsided your business.
Yeah, I think that. When people hear we have great culture, right? No firm, I have yet to talk to a firm where they say we have bad culture.
Right.
I have never
no
heard one, right?
There's not a bad culture out there.
Right.
And
there isn't really a firm with a bad culture. It's matching the firm's culture to your personality and the personality of your practice and your clients. Right?
That's right.
If you manage a book of business with ultra high net worth clients that want stuff done yesterday, right? Going to a firm that takes you 2 or 3 weeks to open up an account is probably not a good place to be.
No. These things start
and by the way, there is a firm out there that takes like 3 weeks to open an account.
you know this when it comes to vision.
It starts with a J.
When it comes to like where is everybody headed? If you're not all on the same page, so look, great advice for a small business right now. If you don't all know where you're headed, and the culture is a couple of things, couple different visions, right? I don't know, or we're going this way and somebody's going the other way. It becomes problematic because when you're talking to a prospective client, an existing client, a prospective employee, an existing employee, like all of the above, and they're getting different answers from different people, and it's not a cohesive vision, your culture all of a sudden has become this amalgamation of things that don't make sense and can be very confusing.
Right.
So a good culture starts off with a good vision, in leadership and directing everybody towards the same place.
I think that there are some firms out there that have vision, even the wirehouse firms, right? They have a vision, and it doesn't mean that you might agree with it, but they have a vision of what they're going to do, and that's all, and that's good. I'm not poo-pooing that or anything. Like, good for them. But again, if that vision and the culture that comes from that vision don't match up with you, you shouldn't be there.
Right.
Because it's going to slow you down. It's going to frustrate you. It's going to frustrate your staff, whatever. But then if you look at some firms in the independent space where maybe there's more than a few of them, so I'm not picking on any particular one, but maybe there's firms out there or conglomerates of firms that have multiple BDs underneath them, right? Where they don't know what the vision is. Right? They're not really sure whose vision is it going to be. What's the culture of the firm? Is it their culture? Is it going to be our culture? Is it going to be some new culture? That creates uncertainty with advisors because they don't know what's going to happen next. Where are we going? But the other thing, and the reason why, again, we're talking about this is, we say it's not about the money, but it's about the money. But what's happening is some of these services, cost, basis point pricing, payouts, all this stuff is becoming commoditized, right? Plus or minus a point here and there.
Right.
Oh, you have Orion? Oh, we have Orion. Oh, you use Black Diamond? Oh, we use Black Diamond. Like, it's all basically commoditized. It's all the same stuff. And so almost like maybe bad example, but I was going to use Formula One as an example, right? Because they all have specifics that they have to make their own parts.
Okay.
They have to, right?
Yep. Spec types are all the same. They've got to figure out what the driver, where the difference in the driver and the
driver and culture and how much money they put into it. But maybe that's not a great example because there could be some debate about how that's an unfair sport, but whatever. But my point is that all of these things are commoditized, and what's going to separate the winners from the losers is culture and vision.
Yeah.
And is that the right culture? Because you can do wondrous things with a ton of energy if you're at a firm where the culture is awesome, right? And you need to start asking questions that are different. And it might seem silly, but like, do they have events? Do they have conferences? Do they have events where there's support staff events? There's events for the platinum producers. Do they get to meet senior leadership? If you're a senior producer, meaning a high-end producer, do you have the cell phone of the leadership of the firm? Are there councils, advisory councils? Ask those questions. Don't just ask about what's your payout, what's my basis point price, do you use Salesforce or Redtail, like that kind of stuff. Are you going to pay by ACATs?
State your goals to them. Find out what their answers are going to be.
Right.
My goal is not what I'm doing today, but it's something else. Find out what the answer is. You're going to figure out pretty quickly if their goals and their capabilities will help you, get to the place that you want to be, and is it the right people that will help you get there? By the way, people and economics are tied together. Mm-hmm. And so if you're getting a 99% payout and they have 1% to divvy up and work out their margins with, what kind of culture do you think you're going to find inside of that opportunity?
Right.
All right. And so there's a good band here. Sometimes a lower payout means that they can put the right type of culture in place to help you reach your goals, you have to ask them and talk to the people that are not just recruiters at the firm and they're not just the leadership. You gotta get into conversations with the folks behind the scenes that are, they're either happy or they're not
and
happy.
Advisors at the firm.
Yeah, that's
so one firm comes to mind because it's always been this way. So Raymond James in particular, right, is known for having arguably one of the better cultures in the industry.
Right.
I don't think anyone can argue that. Their regrettable attrition rate is less than 1%. Right. Regrettable attrition. That means not from deaths, not from retirements, right? Disabilities, regrettable attrition. But they also are known as having some of the smallest deals on the street. Right. They're a premium firm. You go there as an advisor, and whether you're independent or if you're a W-2 office, or you're probably W-2 offices are more aligned with all the other W-2 firms. But on the independent side, you're probably going to take a little bit lower payout, not massively lower, but lower. And they're not bashful about that, because what you're getting from that compensation is worth it if you're using those resources, right? If you're never going to use marketing, you're never going to use their trading, you don't ever want to be part of the conferences that they have, or if you're a female advisor, the women's initiatives that they have, or an LGBTQ advisor, all those initiatives. Like, if you're never going to use those things, you might not want to go to Raymond James, right? Because you're not going to get the value of, it's like buying a really expensive car, right?
Right.
If you're not tech savvy and you don't understand how the engine works and you don't really drive really fast, don't buy an expensive car with all the gadgets, because you're never going to use them.
Right. Your experience isn't going to be justified. And so we see this all the time with advisors, going to firms, and it's just a matching of personality and culture and expectations. If you're going to go to one of these firms and you're going to get lost there because the experience isn't what you need for you, your staff, and your clients, well, you've got to, that's a perfect opportunity to take a look at, how can I improve the culture here? The two go hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Culture at the firm and the culture inside of your firm go hand in hand. And
there's a firm that I know of. It's actually It's a Cetera Advisor Networks group called Summit Financial Network. Used to be Summit Brokerage Services. And when you look at culture and building a culture, the CEO, the president of the firm, who started that firm, who ironically also ultimately really was the founder of what is known as Finet, I thought it was really interesting that during 2020, and he actually still does it now, it's sort of a running joke when I call him. I'm like, hey, what state are you in? And when I say that, I really mean, what state are you driving in your RV in? Because he actually, during COVID, when everyone couldn't leave, bought an RV. I think he spent, $400,000 or $500,000 on this thing. And he drove around the country meeting his financial advisors. Him and his wife. He obviously had a driver also.
Wow.
But he drove around the country to go meet with his advisors outside at picnic parks. Like he just couldn't not be around his people, right?
Well, even in his office, right? So I haven't been to his office, but I've heard legendary stories about what a great culture that is, right?
Yeah. He has in the office sort of like screens, sort of like what we have up here in a podcast studio, and he has pictures of all his advisors in hallways. They're all over these screens are all over the place, right? Not all over the place, but they're in a bunch of places, and it's just pictures of advisors at conferences, but also on family vacations, and the reason why he does that is because he wants all the people that work in the office to understand who they're working for.
Right.
And we would sit there with a client, and while we're waiting for the next person to come in or whatever, and he could tell you stories about every single advisor on that screen. Oh, that was Jill, and she did this, and she came here, and her husband does this, and she's been with us for 18 years, and that's culture.
That's a great culture. I mean,
right?
And inside of really like any element that you would find him in, any business structure, he's got that core. That's what's important. So
it starts from the top.
Exactly. So he could have been on his own, or he could have been inside of the largest institution you've ever come across, and he would still have that culture from the top down, just leading them to, hey, this is what's really important. This is what we really do. These are the
Right.
things that make our clients happy. These are the things that should make us happy.
Right.
And
By the way, if you want to talk to that firm, give us a call and we can set you up with him. He's tremendous.
yes, yeah, truly exceptional.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's an example of that. But actually goes to the point in terms of a process that I think advisors, when they may be asking, well, how do I tell whether a firm's got good culture or not over the phone or over a Zoom call, right? Because a firm, again, no firm is going to ever tell you that they have bad culture, right? Don't come here. Our advisors hate it here, right?
Right.
And we always recommend to advisors, especially when you're larger and you have a team, if you get a chance to go on a home office visit, go to the main headquarters, or one of, some firms have multiple headquarters, right? But go in person, kick the tires, look around, see what's happening in the hallways.
Call an advisor that
Call
works there.
advisors. I mean, you should definitely,
Yeah.
when they say, oh, we've helped an advisor grow from blah, 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 say, great. Can I talk to that advisor?
Right.
Right? And their reaction will tell you whether or not they're bullshitting you or not.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff that you have to gauge whether they actually deliver on those things or not. It's important because too many advisors get wrapped up in, especially when firms are throwing around a lot of money, they get too wrapped up in that. Culture also means, what are they spending on technology, right? What is the firm spending on technology that translates to not more compliance, right, but more efficiency for a financial advisor? Because that, again, that dictates what the culture is like, and that is the advisor is the firm views the advisor as their client, as their most important asset, and they're willing to invest in that asset. That's culture.
It's the same concept. I think, a lot of advisors, you'd understand that it's just like worrying about things like AI and automations and computers taking over your business and your relationship with clients. That never happens if you're creating the right relationship with the client. Clients would much rather talk to someone that they could relate to instead of a facade of that.
Yeah.
And as a firm and as an advisor with a business, you want to figure out who's a real connection and who your clients would connect with versus the latter. And
the other thing that's going to be that's important, and this is maybe going to be controversial. I don't know, but I think I'm right.
What are we about to say?
It's for a little bit of a while now. I'm not going to say a long time, but I think that since coming out of COVID, everyone thought that they can get away with going remote. Everybody's going remote now. We're going to save money, and it's going to give people flexibility, work from home, all that good stuff. And the truth of the matter is, it will work for certain types of businesses and maybe a small subset of people within an advisory practice, but ultimately your culture will suffer if you don't value the in the office, in the studio, face-to-face, water cooler conversations that take place from being in an office. And there are firms out there that are trying to make this whole remote thing work like completely, and I just think they're going to fail. What I mean by fail is I don't think they're going to be as successful as they think they're going to be with firms that are bringing people back to the office, right? That are getting that culture again, getting that camaraderie, the energy, the new ideas. That's the kind of stuff that happens when you get together. We have people that are, majority of our people are here in New Jersey, but maybe I'll say majority, maybe half are here, and some half are in different states. And the truth of the matter is that people that are here tend to be more productive, right?
Absolutely.
They tend to have a different level of energy because they're connected to what we're doing here. And we do a lot of things in terms of calls and events that people can fly in for and all those things. But that they're not here.
And they all want to be here.
Right.
Is the reality. If it all was a perfect world, they'd be here with us all the time. Just the way circumstances
I just think that when we talk about in one of our other episodes, we talk about hiring and new talent, all that other stuff. You should be really concerned about your culture. And this is, I'm talking to to everybody as individual practitioners running your business, right? Whether it's 2, 3, 4 people, and or broker dealers that have hundreds and thousands of people.
Yeah.
You should be concerned with if people don't want to come back to the office because they feel like they can, for whatever the reason is. The reality is you're just not as productive when you're home. I don't. There's too much distraction. Not everybody, but I'll say generally speaking, it's a general comment, right? Don't send me emails about, I can be more productive at home. But my office is 4 minutes from my house, and I'm more productive when I come to the office than if I work from home, right?
Right.
I could easily go back and forth.
Same here.
And so pay attention to this. It's going to be a real problem for you if you think that you can get away with this and have your team work from home and never get together. You're missing out. There is opportunity cost for that you don't realize that you're missing. And so figure out ways to come back to the office, figure out ways to get together. We do something every single month here where we have some type of get together of some sort, right? We did a pajama thing the other day with breakfast, and that
was fun.
Some of the girls came in and
crepes and something. They did crepes. Yeah, that was good.
Pancakes and whatever.
That
was really fun. And
their comedy
I did not
show.
dress up in pajamas. So
yeah, I would have, and I forgot what happened that day.
Yeah.
And
we're doing a comedy show. We're doing. We have golf outings. We do. I think they're setting up some type of painting and wine thing.
Go-karts.
Go-karts. That was really good.
That was fun.
Go-karts was good. Maybe the axe throwing thing or whatever. Pool. There's things that you should be doing to keep your team connected, especially if you have some people that aren't in the office. But my sort of warning to you is you need to figure out how to bring those people back to the office. You need to figure out how to regain the culture of in-office service, camaraderie, energy. That energy is part of the reason why independent practices grow faster than W-2 practices, because there's an energy in the office. And so if you don't have anybody in the office with you, you lose that energy. You're just not going to have off the cuff conversations about stuff. I mean, I know when we were remote, we weren't really talking every day. And so there was something lost there versus today where we sit right near each other, and it could be off the cuff conversations about stuff. And then you just move on, right? So I think culture is really, really important. The morning is pay attention to it. Don't discount the fact that having in office boots on the ground, as I call it, the value of that is really, really important. As a broker dealer, you want that as well, because you want to make sure that your advisors that you're servicing are getting the same level of support, answers. That they're not calling somebody and they're doing their laundry or something like that. I've had that happen. Actually, I've had that happen with somebody. I won't use any names, but it actually happened. It's really important. So I think we've got that message across clearly. So anyway, we appreciate it. This is a message that's urgent. It's been on my mind. We've been talking about it lately. We've done a couple of large pro forma analysis for firms, and I tried to get them to sort of move off the mark of the numbers and focus on culture and the importance of going on home office visits to kick the tires, to test the culture, right? It's almost like sort of, testing the wind. You got to do stuff like that. Ask for referrals, talk to advisors, pick up the phone and just randomly call advisors that are at the firm, right? There's no reason why you have to get a name and a number from a recruiter.
Yeah,
right?
and look,
call an advisor.
Talk to the person who answers the phone too.
Right.
It might not be an advisor.
That's a great idea, right? So there you go. Anyway, listen, if you want to talk more about that, you want to find out what firms are out there that fit the culture that you're looking for, you can give us a call. Give Dale a call at 856-316-4653. You can call me if you want.
856-316-4651.
So he knows my number. You can check us out. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa on YouTube. My Instagram account, which is franklarosa.elite. And go to iTunes, wherever you, Spotify, all that. Smash that like button. I haven't said that in a while. That's
Ring
Dale
the bell.
saying. Ring the bell. Smash the like button.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Forward this. We don't advertise. We don't have firms on here and some firms want to put ads on here and stuff like that. We don't do that. All we ask is that you share this with someone that you know, share this with someone that should listen to this. If you're at a broker-dealer and you don't think they have good culture, share this with your senior leadership team.
Share this with every contact in your cell phone.
That would be awesome. Anyway, with that said, thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. If you're looking for more advice or solutions on any topics in the financial services industry, or you just want to subscribe to our podcast, head on over to eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcasts.